Hello. Welcome to Brushing Teeth with Robert. Welcome. May 20th, 2020. You are here for the Wednesday recorded podcast of Brushing Teeth with Robert. Thank you for coming. I really hope y'all are enjoying the music I'm playing lately. So, welcome. Welcome to Brushing Teeth with Robert. We made it. We made it. I would never do that. So, this is Scroobius Pimp, Thou Shalt Kill. Fantastic song. I don't even know if they do things anymore, but I can tell you this, I love this song. Thank you for being there. Thank you. I don't think this is going to get taken down for copyright infringement. I don't think. Please do that.
And thou shalt always kill.
All right, so welcome to the to the Wednesday podcast. Sorry, it is May 20th, 2020, and we have made it this far. So good for us, good for you, good for me, good for both of us. I just left a absolutely phenomenal gathering with two friends. I am not hesitant to say it at all, not because I don't think coronavirus is real, but it mainly because I know that there are people in my life that are being safe. So, I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to come back around to that, so remember that if you don't mind. But welcome to Brushing Teeth with Robert, May 20th, 2020. It's the Wednesday recorded podcast. We have done great. You're here. I'm here. We're both here. And I can tell you this, I'm glad we made it. I really am. I'm glad you made it. I'm glad I made it. I truly am. So thank you. Thank you. And if you do watch this out of some weird randomness, because I think almost everybody who would normally watch this watches it. But if you watch it out of any randomness, please subscribe wherever that button is. I don't know. Maybe it's up here. I don't know where it is. But please listen. And if you like what you hear, subscribe. Even if you don't like what you hear, subscribe. Who cares? You know, I'm here. You're here. Maybe I can take your mind off of things for a few minutes. Cheers. We've done great. We have done great. So, things are opening up. Restaurants are slowly opening. Bars are slowly opening, which is a thing. I'm not going to say whether it's good. I'm not going to say whether it's bad because the honest truth is I don't know. I do not know. All I can do is the best that's for me in this situation, and I hope that's the same for you. Now, if you are doing the best for you, and you see people out in public who aren't doing what you're doing, fucking leave them alone. Leave them alone. Just if you don't like what they're doing, it's a lot like the TV or the radio or the internet or whatever. If you don't like what's happening, just turn the channel. Don't yell at the TV. Just turn the channel. All right? That's how easy it is. All right? But thank you very much for being here. I'm going to get this a little closer, even though that's probably a mistake, because everybody knows I have like the loudest voice in the world. So, I have to be honest with you. I am completely unprepared for this. I have not made any notes. What I'm going to do is, I've got two topics that I have decided to pick from, and I don't know how far I'm going to go with them. But thank you for being here. Dallas, I am here in Dallas, in South Dallas, in Oak Cliff, Texas, and the land of street racing, gunshots, and helicopters, police helicopters. That's what happens here in my shitty house, my little tiny studio, and I hope that you are enjoying watching me because I'm really enjoying doing this. I just saw two fantastic friends, went and did a little work for them and just talked with them, and it was nice. It was nice. It made my heart whole. I don't know if I'm supposed to mention them, but I'm going to. Connie and Landon, mwah, I love y'all. Y'all have helped me today, and I hope that I helped y'all a little bit. Here, let's see if we can do this. Oh, there we go. All right, very good. Oh, no, because I like the Empire. Okay, so here is the deal. We're entering into a whole new weird time in this, and I just hope that I know there are people out there. I know that some of my friends are, some of them are not anxiety filled, and I know some of them are. I know some of them are completely anxiety filled. But regardless of that, the best thing I can even tell you is that life goes on. Things go on. The cycle of things go on, and don't spend your time worrying. Just try to move forward regardless. Regardless of whether your move forward is not moving forward. Just do what you do best and live your life. Because I can tell you this, 100% of the people that I know have good lives. Now, we don't have great lives. None of us do. But we have good lives. And if you can just maintain that forward momentum of your good life, please do that. Because I'm thinking about you. I know there are people out there that don't even know I'm thinking about them. There are people who probably out there think I'm an enemy, that hate me or think I hate them. I just snorted a little. Even if you think that, I can tell you this, I still care about you. I still care about you, and I am glad that you are alive and living your life. So let's continue to do that, all right? So whiskey in hand with a little bit of ice, boom, cheers. We made it to Wednesday, midweek. Now we just have to make it to Saturday. And then y'all can see me live. So you're welcome for that. So I thought about something today that came out of oddly nowhere. which is the thought people love movies. And it's okay, I love movies. I love movies, all right? And it's so funny because there are some times when people think about actors and they'll say something like this. Oh, I love that actor. I love that actor. And as almost kind of a movie bourgeois, all right, which I will freely admit I am. Absolutely freely admit that I am. There are times when I will bring up to somebody who says that they like a certain actor, and I'll bring up a film they did early in their career and they don't know about it. I won't say that it drives me nuts. Okay, I'm not going to say that because it does not anger me in any way. In fact, it makes me happy when I'm able to present to them a movie that was early in the actor's career or actress. I think they're called the same. I even think a female actor is called an actor. I could be wrong about that. You could correct me if you want, but nobody comments, so it's not going to matter. But regardless, actors or actresses early in their career that people don't know about. People don't know the film that they were in early in their career. It never drives me nuts, and I'm glad to introduce them to it. I'm glad to tell them about it. And I thought about that today because somebody close to me said this. They said, I love Tom Hardy. I love Tom Hardy too, by the way. I love him. By the way, he's a sexy bitch. He's like a seriously sexy dude. He's thick. I think he's short. I believe he's short. He's like a big dude. He has the raspy, like English voice. By the way, I cannot do any accents. Do not ever, if we know each other, do not ever ask me to do an accent. Because I can't do any accents. I don't even do my own accent. Like, that's how bad I am in accents. My voice accent even changes like day to day or hour to hour. But Tom Hardy got brought up, and it made me think about films that mainstream actors have done that I guess not a lot of people know about. And so I would like to start with Tom Hardy. Okay. And by the way, again, did not prepare, so I'm going to have to do a lot of reading off of things. But so early in Tom Hardy's career, he did a film called Bronson. Now, if you do not know who Bronson is, Bronson is a criminal. He is a English criminal who I believe I'm correct is known as being the most expensive British criminal of all time. And in fact, at one point, so his name is not Bronson, by the way. His name is Charles Arthur Salvador. He is known as the most violent prisoner in Britain. He is also known as causing the most expensive riot in Britain's history. Now, the funny thing about that is the most expensive prison riot that ever happened in Britain's history was caused by this man. And it was a prison riot that just involved him. It was a one-man, most expensive prison riot. It's a phenomenal character or a phenomenal person. And by phenomenal, this is another thing I'm going to come back around to. The idea of phenomenal individuals. It's there's a lot of things we all disagree with. All right. Let's say this. All right. Charles Manson. All right? Please, follow me. Just follow me for a second. All right? Follow me on this. Charles Manson. Nobody can disagree that he was weird, that he was psycho, that he caused the murder of a ton of people. Nobody can deny that in any way, shape, or form. And in that, people will deny that he was a phenomenal individual. And I will say wrong. Wrong. He was a phenomenal individual because of this. Because he influenced media. There are so many movies, so many songs, so many literary references. There is so many references, to repeat myself, to Charles Manson that, yes, was he evil? Quite possibly. Was he influential? Absolutely. Was he phenomenal? I say a definitive yes to that. And the reason I'm saying that is because they're still making movies. They're still making movies about him to this day. And you don't have to give kudos to that. But you do have to give a sense of credence to that, because that an individual that affects history in any way should be considered phenomenal, even if they sucked. Hitler's a prime example. Stalin's a prime example. Andrew Jackson, prime example. And I'm not saying Bronson's on that level, but Bronson, even though he is known as being the most violent prisoner in Britain's history, he is still influential because of that. The story follows this character, or this man, because it's a biopic. It follows this man who basically went on to be basically criminal fame. Not too much unlike the Krays in Britain history. If you don't know who the Krays are, don't just... Oh, Tom Hardy. By the way, don't just watch the Tom Hardy movie about the Krays. Watch the actual original movie that was done that was called The Krays. It's really, really well done. Basically, twin gangsters. He was in and out of prison. At the point the movie was made, I guess he had been in prison for 34 years. Built like a brick shit house. Built like an absolute brick fucking shit house. And he loved to fight. Now, those of y'all that know me and know my history, you will obviously know why I have a draw to somebody like this. Because anybody who doesn't know me that watches this knows that I went through a very long period in my life where I loved to fight. I really did. I enjoyed fighting. I'm missing teeth, got scars on me, where I really, really liked fighting. So I was at times attracted by characters that like to fight. East of Eden is another really good thing I was attracted to, which is John Steinbeck, because it's one of the characters is a son that likes to fight, and Bronson is a fighter. He loved to fight. Now, that being said, I am not going to Wikipedia this at all. But I don't believe he ever killed anybody. I think he just beat up people very badly. And I could be wrong. But I do know there is a very famous story in which he fought fighting dogs. Like he bare-knuckled fought fighting dogs that were trained to kill. He loved to fight. And in fact, that riot that I'm talking about, there's a, you can look it up on YouTube. There's a video of him on top of the roof of the prison just ripping off pieces of the roof of this British prison. Tom Hardy plays this role. This is one of his earliest roles. I'm almost positive this role was before he did any American roles whatsoever. And he plays this role so unbelievably well. He plays this role in a way in which it's an interview style with flashbacks to a biopic. And it's so good. I love him. I think he's a great actor. It's so funny because a lot of people first started hearing about him, I believe with Bane maybe, during the Batman movies. But I had watched him in Bronson way a long time ago. And he was also in, what was that TV show? Peaky Blinders. He was in Peaky Blinders as well. I loved his character in that. I didn't even like the show. I didn't even really like the show, but I liked his character in that. If you get a chance, please watch that movie. Read about the history of that prisoner. It's a really fascinating story. So I know that this podcast has taken a weird movie and TV jaunt, but it's kind of one of my favorite things. I mean, the only other thing we could really veer off into in a hardcore way would be like performance art, and nobody would watch this. Literally nobody. Like if I was to talk for like 30 minutes about Karen Thaler and the voluptuous horror of Karen Black, nobody would watch this. So hopefully this whole idea behind me talking about TVs and movies at least sparks some interest in y'all going and taking a look at these actors that will play these mainstream characters, and you will look at where they started. And this is a great flick based on an amazing character that people should know about. He's still alive today, by the way. And I believe he's kept in a super tiny cell, like where he can only stand up or like lay down. So it's called Bronson. Again, Tom Hardy plays the lead character. Please watch it. It's very good. And then for some reason, something keeps entering my head, and I feel like I should talk about it, which is Russell Crowe. So, here is a little known movie that Russell Crowe was in, which is from 1992, way before Gladiator, a movie that is called Romper Stomper. Now, it's a hard one to get through, and I'm not going to tiptoe around it. I'm definitely going to just go straight into it and say this. It's a movie about skinheads. That's what it is. It's a movie basically about gutter punks and gutter punk culture, and about mainly British skinheads. Not too much unlike. So here's the deal. If anybody's watching this that has already gotten my references, there is a very good movie called This Is England that was a little bit before this time. Romper Stomper was kind of the not a sequel to This Is England, but it was almost like a degradation of if you followed the skinhead path, what would happen to you. It's an amazing movie. Russell Crowe is so good in it, and he plays basically the leader of this gutter punk skinhead troupe, and it is so good. I saw it way before Russell Crowe was ever in the American audience, and a lot of people will know Russell Crowe from his beginnings, which of course in the American market, which was Gladiator. which was, "Are you entertained?" I hate doing that. It's the stupidest thing ever. But this movie was so far before that. I'll go ahead and read to you from the Wikipedia, which is Hondo, which is Russell Crowe, and Davy, which is Daniel Pollock, are leaders of a racist youth gang who spend their nights attacking Asian immigrants in a rough section of Melbourne. So this is based in Australia. But being an American, when I watch this, of course, all accents are the same. So I've always thought for years and years and years that this took place in England. They're on the run after losing badly in a fight between a new Vietnamese owners of a local pub. It's so good because it's basically you are watching a roller coaster roll downhill into the ground. And it plays a social commentary about the ideas of racism and nationalist culture, especially in small nations like Britain, like Australia, even the Netherlands, places like that. There are, by the way, movies that are very similar that are based in the Netherlands, and it's a phenomenal movie in which, when you watch it, you can tell that Russell Crowe is going to do things. You can tell. Even when you watch it now, you can go, "Oh, no wonder he's so good. No wonder he is the actor he is." And he's just so good in it. Please watch it. It's going to be hard to get through. I'm not going to give you... In case you have not noticed yet, I'm not going to give you a movie that's easy to get through. It's not built into me. I am not connoisseur, because that's unfair. That brings me to this level when really I'm like down here. I love movies that are hard to get through. And not hard to get through campy. Not hard to get through like, I don't know, give me a La La Land or something. I like movies that are hard and test your soul and test your longevity of seeing a character from two different sides. So, Romper Stomper, great movie. Please watch it. Unbelievable. And that brings me to my third movie, which is going to be far removed because it is an actor who is not alive anymore. So, people of my age like to reminisce about older actors that were around back in the day. And one actor that comes around a lot, of course, is River Phoenix. And there is a movie that, seriously, not a lot of people have seen. I actually saw it in the theater. I saw it with my best friend, Duck, and I saw it with a girl I was dating at the time. Her name is Emily. If I can say her name, she doesn't watch this. Emily Barclay. I was madly in love with her at the time. Who else did I see it with? I saw it with a girl by the name of Angie Hicks. I saw it with a few just dregs of society at the time. By the way, I want to say this: at the time, we were dregs of society. I'm not saying we're not dregs of society now, but I would say that back then we were definitely more. It is a movie called My Private Idaho. So, My Private Idaho centers around two actors in which it was their beginning roles. All right. One was, of course, River Phoenix, and the other was Keanu Reeves. It was one of his very, very, very early and independent roles. Now, that movie, so hear me out. All right, I want you to hear me out. In this loose adaptation of Shakespeare's Henry IV, Mike Waters, River Phoenix, is a gay hustler afflicted with narcolepsy. Scott Favor, which is Keanu Reeves, is the rebellious son of a mayor who is also, by the way, a gay prostitute. Together, the two travel from Portland, Oregon to Idaho and finally to the coast of Italy in a quest to find Mike's estranged mother. Along the way, they turn tricks for money and drugs, eventually attracting the attention of a wealthy benefactor and sexual deviant. Now, this is one of Gus Van Sant's very, very, very early movies. This was 1991. It was right before I left Houston to go to college in Austin. And by college, I go college. It is an amazing, amazing film. It truly is. It is so, so well done. I'm going to read off some of the people who are in this. Of course, River Phoenix, Keanu Reeves, Flea is in this, William S. Burroughs is in this, Udo Kier is in this, James Russo is in this, Grace Zabriskie, which if you don't know who she is, you should look at David Lynch films. William S. Burroughs is in it. Tom Waits is in it. It's an unbelievable cast. It really is. A lot of people have said that this movie is what led to the downfall and eventually the ODing death of River Phoenix. It could be. Who knows? And I'll tell you this, if it did, let's say it did. Let's say this is what led to River Phoenix's death. Then watch it. Then watch it. You should watch it. It would just be like watching The Dark Knight Returns or whatever with Heath Ledger playing the Joker. If the Joker is what led to Heath Ledger's death, then you should absolutely watch it because it's phenomenal. It's a great, great, great movie. Please, please, please research these three movies. Please watch them if you're listening to me because these are three phenomenal actors that did movies that were completely out of the mainstream. By the way, I want to bring this up real quick because I saw Flea. If you do not know the movies that Flea has been in, please go look at Flea's very first movie, which is a movie called Suburbia. Please do that. As you can tell, this entire set of recommendations has a little bit of a punk rock feel to it, as it should, because that's the way that independent cinema should feel. And these films are so great. You will not regret it. You will thank me. They're worth your time. Even though they were done in an independent field in which the film quality is not great, the acting is not fantastic, you will see those shining moments of those actors you loved in these movies that made you do this. Of course, they were this good. Of course, this is what they did. Of course, this is the road they went down. So please check them out. Those three movies are fantastic. It really did spark an interest in me today when somebody talked about Tom Hardy, and I realized that they only knew Tom Hardy from maybe 2 or 3 films, when there is a plethora of things he has done, including what he did early on that should be looked at, that led to what he is now. So, that being said, we're going to go long, in case you can't tell. We're going to go long on this one, all right? So, if you decide to stick with me, and you should, I want to transition this, and I think it's a very fair transition. And the fair transition is the evolution of us, and by us I mean men, as we go through life. Oh, shut up. And over the last few weeks, I've thought about this a lot. There have been different situations, different conversations in which it has sparked the idea of the evolution of men as individuals and how they go through life. Now, I have a lot to say about this, and I probably will as these podcasts go on. But I want to bring something up in particular. And one of the things in particular that I've noticed is that two things, excuse me. I've noticed in the younger generation that I talk to that there seems to be a dichotomy difference in the way they are growing up. One either grows up very lackadaisical, very resting on their own laurels. I don't even know if I've been using that term forever and I've never looked it up, so it could be completely wrong. There is a set that is growing up very privileged and does not feel like doesn't feel like they should, but presented with the option of struggle and being complacent, they will choose that. They will not choose struggle. They will choose complacency. And then there's another one that feels that life is an eternal struggle. That feels that in order to get through life, they have to become a very, very tight walking edge of a thin line that exists on the far fringes of society. So you have two. And this might be unfair. I'm not going to say it's not. It might be unfair. It might be unfair for me to separate that into two very far-reaching camps of what a lot of people would see from my wording as the lazy and the anxiety-filled. It could, and I'm all right with that. Fucking argue with me. I'm all right. I'm okay with that. But it's just what I see and just what I'm recognizing. So I'm going to bring this back around to the idea of phenomenal individuals and whether a individual you wholeheartedly disagree with is considered a phenomenal individual. I don't want to put this person in the same vein as a Charles Manson. I don't want to put him in the same vein as a serial killer or something like that movies are still made of. But I wouldn't mind putting this person in the realm of somebody who is controversial on the form of separating opinion in a very black and white way. So I heard there's a podcaster, let's just say influencer, because I think that's fair, named Gavin McInnes. All right, he is very right wing. He is very conservative. He is very Republican. But I will say this, and I just want to make an excuse for myself. All right. Listen, I'm going to stand up for myself, all right? I'm going to stand up for myself in this conversation, which is this. I think it's very fair that even though we don't agree wholeheartedly with an individual, it is fair for us to listen to them and take certain parts of what they say as a credit. Please hear me out. Just listen. Just stick around for a second. Just listen to me for a second. All right. Gavin Guinness says this. He has these 4 rules for being a man. He says this. First of all, well, it's not first of all. They're all pretty equal, which is this. In order to become a man, you had to have kicked somebody's ass. You had to have had your ass kicked. You had to have had your heart broken, and you had to have broken somebody's heart. I think that's fair. I think that's very fair. Of course, I don't think it's all. I think it's boiled down to a very primary situation. But I think that is a very, very, very fair thing to say. I think those are good things as men mature, as boys mature into being men. So, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I know I'm doing that a lot. Just ignore it. And I have been thinking about that a lot, and thinking about this dichotomy difference between the generations below me that are growing up. And I want to add to it. And I'll probably add to it some more, but I want to add something to it. And I think it's fair. I think it's very fair because I've gotten into a lot of conversations over the last month, maybe 2 months, about men's responsibilities in life and the way we carry certain burdens. And I just want to say this, that if you are a feminist and watching this, and if you cannot hear me out, I understand. But I understand because you should be able to see things from both sides. I can see things from a feminist side. Absolutely. There are a ton of shit for females that suck, but the unfortunate part of this is I have a dick and I have a balls, and I was born as a man, so the only way I can speak of is from this situation, and that's what I'm going to say. I'm going to speak from this situation. I'm going to speak from being a man, right? And I would say this: if you are a feminist and you are watching this, I can be honest with you, it probably would do you some good to listen. It would. Empathy is a good thing. Does not depend on what part of the spectrum you are. Empathy is always a good thing. Again, I am willing to listen to a ton of different conversations and opinions that do not agree with me, and I would not hold the opinions that I have today if somebody hadn't disagreed with me. So it might do you good just to listen, just to hear me out, all right? So that being said, here, let me have a drink. That being said, I think maturing from a boy into a man, there is a feeling that every boy to man evolution should have, which is this. So as men that have a work ethic and have a sense of responsibility, at times we have a problem disappointing people. We do not want to disappoint anybody. And I'll touch on the big parts of that later. I want to touch on the small parts of this now, which is this. In that, there is a time when you become very frustrated. And at my age now, I've gone through it many times. But I know I'm burping a lot doing this, but it is what it is. There is a time when the very first time this happens to a boy that's evolving into being a man, you recognize it, which is this, which is the reason why I'm doing this. I know you're waiting for me to get to the point. The reason I'm doing this is because I've been giving parenting tips. And I think that anybody raising a boy should recognize this, because they should be able to talk to their sons honestly about the different feelings that happen during their evolution. And this feeling is this, which is, fuck everybody, fuck you all. You know what? I've done enough trying to help everybody, trying to care for everybody, trying to care about everybody's feelings, trying to care about everybody's well-being, responsibility that I'm trying to carry, just getting through fucking life. The honest truth is, I'm going to go in the closet. I'm going to take all that clothes. I'm going to put it in a fucking suitcase. I'm going to walk out that fucking door. I'm not even going to take my fucking car. I'm not going to take my fucking car. I'm not going to leave a fucking note. I'm just going to take my fucking, I'm going to empty out my fucking bank account. I'm going to leave. I'm going to walk and fuck it. I'm going to go wash dishes in some weird fucking restaurant in fucking Portland, Oregon, where nobody fucking knows me. I'm going to make up a name. I'm not even going to have a social security card. Fuck it. I'm going to empty my fucking wallet out of all my cards so nobody can follow me. And fuck y'all. I'm going to go do what I fucking want, or even not what I want. I'm going to go do shit in which I don't have to worry about y'all any fucking more. No, that was a lot. I know that was a lot. But that should happen in men's lives. And it should happen more than once. It should happen not cyclical, not in a repeating fashion, not in a predictive fashion, but it should happen to where not just from boy to man, realizing that you have decided not to disappoint anybody, and you've decided to try to carry a larger load than possibly you can carry. But even through a man's life, in which there are times in which things go to here, where instead of being to here, they are to here. You don't. It's rare. I've planned my disappearance so many times off of fucking cruise ships, walking out my fucking house, driving to work and just parking my truck and fucking leaving. I have absolutely done this, and I would guarantee any man worth his fucking grain of salt has done the exact same thing, where he has thought in his mind, fuck this, I'm fucking done. I cannot fucking do this anymore. I'm gonna fucking park this fucking truck. I'm just gonna fucking walk. Just fuck it. I got my bank card, walk to the bank, I'll get all my money on cash, and I'll just fucking go. And it's healthy to recognize that. It's healthy to recognize that as a man, because that means that you are at least being responsible. In the least, you're being responsible. And it made me think a lot about what I talked about before this, which is movies and the evolution of us as guys, and what we take on and what we carry and what we decide to do, and how that can lead to either better things or different things. So, I thought about that a lot today. I thought a lot about that in the last couple months, as I've talked to all my friends, as I've talked to other people, as I've talked to, of course, other men. that we should be able to recognize that there are certain traits that happen to us that it's common. It's a common feeling that happens to us that we should feel, and we should be all right. We should understand where we just go, fuck you, I'm fucking done. You can kiss my ass. You've asked too fucking much of me, and I'm fucking done with this fucking bullshit. And it's all right. It's all right to feel that, because the honest truth is 90% of the time, you will not do that. 90% of the time, you're going to shut your fucking mouth, you're going to move the fuck on, and you're going to continue to work your ass off. And if you do, I want to say this right now. Cheers. Cheers to you. Cheers to you for keeping your fucking head straight. Cheers for you for still trudging the road ahead. Because those that decide to disappear, and they're there. World Trade Center was a prime example, because there were tons of people who decided to sketch out their lives and pretend like they died because they were unhappy with their lives. But those of us who decide to continue to try to live our lives, kudos to us, regardless of whether you're a man or a woman. But again, I'm mostly talking about men because that's all I fucking know. All right? So, I want to say this. I wrote nothing down for this podcast. Not one thing. I did not write one thing down. I didn't write anything down on my little whatever this fucking stupid note thing is that I have here that I use that I can read like literally 80% of the handwriting. The other 20% is just a mess. But kudos to me. That's what I have to say. So, wow, I've gone way over, as I should. And I want to thank you again. I've been doing this for a little while now, and I'm glad I am doing it. So thank you for tuning in, those 19 people that are. And I hope that I'm at least giving you something to think about. I know not all of them are funny. All right, I do my best. Sometimes I get in moods like this where I just want to let you know what I'm thinking and what I'm feeling and what I'm researching. And then there are times when, fuck it, I'll talk about masturbating or some shit like that. So I'm sorry if not all of them are funny, but I'm hoping you took something away from it. All right? Even if it was a distraction for 53 minutes. So, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. It's an odd podcast, Brushing Teeth with Robert. I want to say this also. Support your local business. Please support your local bar, support your local restaurant. Those people on staff are apprehensive as well. So if you are apprehensive, so are they. But they need money as well. So takeout, delivery. By the way, side note, stop Grubhub and UberEats. Stop it. Order from the place and go pick it up. Stop giving those fucking people your money. Go get it directly from the place. Trust me, more money goes in their pocket. If you like a local business, order directly from them and go pick it up from them. I've read a lot about this. Trust me, or who knows. I could be reading bullshit. I don't know. Just, that's what I do now. All right? So, thank you. Please, if you're listening, subscribe. Subscribe somewhere, wherever it is on this. It's somewhere there. But please subscribe and listen some more. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe I'm adding something to this. I don't freaking know. Who knows? Maybe I'm not adding anything to this. Who knows? I'm just doing my best. All right?
Musical.
Thank you.
Canción.
Brushing Teeth with Robert. May 20th, 2020. Next podcast. be live and probably be from the hill country, by the way. This time, no joke. Seriously, it will be. I'm going to go ahead and get the hell out of here for Memorial Day. So, I love you all. Stay safe. I'll stay safe. I will be thinking about you. I know I didn't say it last time, but I want you to really, really know. Look at me. Look at me. Logan owes me a lot of money.
No le den de pistear, porque no para, no puede, y es mejor que le lo lleven a costa.
Thank you. Brother D. Robert, thank you for being around. I love you all.